Good evening. We are keeping you up to date on the situation that is unfolding in the nation's capital, where today security was breached as protesters turned into rioters and invaded what should be one of the most secure buildings in the nation. We are joined now by Congressman Steve Stivers. First of all, Congressman, are you safe? And where were you when all of this unfolded?
Hi, Colleen. I am safe. I was in the Capitol complex when it started. I was on the floor for a little while, and then I went downstairs to the first floor at 1:30. And then after my 1:30 meeting at about 2 o'clock, I walked back to my office to get something. And that's when I noticed that the Capitol complex had been breached. I saw the notification on my phone. And so I went to another location at that point, and I'm certainly safe. My staff is safe. I've talked to the rest of the Ohio delegation. The Ohio delegation is safe. So everything is good with me. It's a sad day for our republic, though. The last time the Capitol was breached was 1814, and that was by British soldiers, and we were at war, the War of 1812.
You know, as we watched this unfold and watched people streaming into the halls of Congress and right into the chambers of the House and Senate, it was not only startling but disturbing, and a lot of people are pointing the finger of blame at President Trump, saying he incited this, these are his followers, Trump flags were being carried through the Capitol. Do you condemn the president in his role in all of this?
I think the president, Colleen, should have done much more to stop this. And unfortunately, he did not do enough to stop this. And in fact, in some cases, encouraged it. And that's unfortunate. And I think that is absolutely wrong.
So where do we go from here? You were in the middle of a vote at a joint session debate on what should happen with the Electoral College votes. Obviously, that constitutionally mandated date will not happen. What happens now?
Well, Colleen, we will complete our business. It will happen. They're in the process of clearing the Capitol chamber now, and we will reconvene and we will complete our work, Colleen.
You'll do that tonight?
We'll do it as soon as it's cleared, is my guess. I can't speak for the Capitol Police and the Sergeant at Arms as to when that will be cleared, but they will make sure that the buildings are clear before we go back in. And as soon as that happens, I assume we will start as soon as that can be. We've not gotten official notification on that, but I plan on doing my job, and I'm going to make sure we complete our task.
You know, a lot of people looked at this rollout today as being emblematic of the division in this country. It's disturbing the way this rolled out. And a lot of people said if these had been black protesters, there would have been more security and there probably would have been more violence against the protesters. Do you think these protesters were treated differently because they were mostly white?
Well, I don't know about that. That's a question for Capitol Police. And the Capitol Police, I think were trying to push back the protesters. I can tell you that one of the folks was shot and has subsequently died. So I can't. I don't know the details of any of that. I've just read that seen that on the news myself.
We were told that Nancy Pelosi called for the National Guard to be called in much earlier than they were, that at first there was pushback and that the administration refused to have the National Guard come in. Do you know anything about that in your role with the Guard?
I am in the National Guard. I'm not familiar with Nancy Pelosi, who she might have called or what happened. I do know the National Guard was called in, and it's the Secretary of the Army that is in charge of the Washington, D.C. Guard, and he is the one that acts like a governor in that case. So I don't know anything about when he was called or that there was a delay. I do know that it has been approved and the D.C. Guard is coming in. I know that much.
You have called for bipartisan cooperation and for a spirit of decency on Capitol Hill. When you look at the way this unfolded, do you think it's going to be a long time before trust is restored in democracy and in the institutions of government?
Well, I don't know. Sometimes it takes something like this to make people realize that we agree on much more than we disagree on. Our republic, frankly, Colleen, is working. Our republic will survive this. We've survived much worse than this. We just have to all look inside ourselves and decide what we want to be, whether we want to be part of the solution or part of the problem. And frankly, our founding fathers set up many checks and balances to make sure that our republic survived. And we need to be part of the solution. I'll be talking to a lot of my colleagues about this and the lessons we can learn from this, because I think when members of Congress sometimes use divisive terms when they talk about each other or their political opponents, it drives other people to extremes. And that's very problematic. And that's why I believe so much in civility and why I've worked for civility and will continue to work for it, Colleen.
The people who marched on Washington today and breached the Capitol believe Donald Trump when he says there was fraud in the elections and that he was the winner of this race. We know that's not true. You know that's not true. So what's your message to your constituents, many of them Trump supporters, who might still believe that?
And President Trump won my district, so there are many President Trump supporters in my district. I will tell you, Colleen, I believe our former Attorney General Bill Barr, when he said he looked into it, and he felt some irregularities in this election, there was not enough what he called systemic fraud to change the outcome of the election. And that is the key, I think, here. And while I believe we probably should do some type of look back at this to make sure we help people understand the integrity of their vote counted, I don't doubt that the election outcome is what it was. And frankly, we need to make sure that we do build trust in every member of every person in our country that voted, that they need to trust the integrity of the electoral process. And I'm willing to try to figure out what we can do to help create more transparency and maybe some type of audit trail on that already. But the states already certified those elections, Colleen, and they look at those type of things as well. So I'm willing to add another layer on top of it, just to try to help people understand that we take voter integrity very seriously.
You said that, you support an audit. The Trump administration had 62 times to go to court and present evidence, to present facts. They failed to do that in front of judges that were appointed, many of them by Republicans, some of them by the president. So are you willing to say that there was no widespread evidence?
I do not see any widespread evidence. And I believe that is correct, Colleen. But I think we have over 70 million people. And why not do if it's okay, why not do an audit? Every public company does an audit every year, Colleen. Why shouldn't we audit our electoral system that people need to have faith in? That's what I'm saying.
Right, but they don't have faith in it because they've been given a false narrative. Is that right?
Let's let the audit show that that's true. I believe that's correct, Colleen. You believe that's correct. But that's why we do things like audits. And that's why I think an election audit makes some sense here.
Okay. Is there anything else we need to know about what's going on in Washington tonight? Do you anticipate that you could be back in action tonight?
I do hope that we're back in action tonight, but I want to make sure that the Capitol Police and Sergeant at Arms get to do their job. The other thing that I think it's really important that everybody know is that our republic will survive this. It was set up to recover from many dark times. And frankly, we've had much more difficult times in our country than this. And we will survive this. But I hope every American will look themselves in the mirror tonight and ask themselves if they want to be part of the solution or part of the problem.
All right, Congressman, thank you for taking time to talk to us. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks, Colleen.